What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome back to How Do I Want to Do This? This is our series where we take a look at all playable options available to players in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, then we rank them on a scale of 1 to 10 and either build them or fix them depending on how they rank. Now today we are beginning our talks on the first of 4 clerics that were either introduced or reintroduced here in the Player's Handbook 2024, and we get to start off with the Life Domain Cleric, the healer that beats all other healers, but we're just gonna have to see how well that does in the new rules. Before we do that, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, of course share the video with your friends, and click the bell so you're notified when new videos are uploaded. So yeah, we of course covered this back in the 2014 rules, which I will throw up in the iCard above right there, and honestly this is not going to be a very long episode because there's not a whole lot that's changed. They really maintained almost all of this subclass outside of 2 areas that have received either changes or buffs, and we're going to go over that, but there's not really a whole lot to go over today, but we'll go through it anyway. Let's jump right in. So starting off at level 3, what used to be level 1, we get Disciple of Life. And that's the first change, is that all of these subclass features have now moved from level 1 to level 3. We used to get the bonus proficiency with the heavy armor. That's now part of the base cleric class, which I put up in the icon above right there. They of course baked all of that into the base cleric class, and same thing with the divine strike we would get at level 8. That has also moved over to base cleric, so make sure to check that out if you're looking for those features there. But Disciple of Life is basically exactly the same. When you cast a leveled spell that heals, you can heal an additional 2 plus the spell's level. Exactly the same. It carries right over. Not really a whole lot to talk about, but it's really good. It definitely is very helpful for adding on to those heals. Now, the spell list that we get in addition to our normal spells, this has changed slightly. It's not massive sweeping changes, but there are a couple that make sense here. So first of all, we drop Spiritual Weapon and pick up Aid. That makes so much sense, right? We get Spiritual Weapon anyway because we're a cleric, and Aid just makes so much more sense for a Life Domain Cleric, right? We still have Cure Wounds, that's the same as before. Lesser Restoration, Bless, that's all the same there for levels, what were levels 1 and 3, what is now just level 3. At level 5, we drop Beacon of Hope and pick up Mass Healing Word. That's a buff as far as I'm concerned. I like Mass Healing Word a little bit better there. Even though Beacon of Hope is not the worst, I do like Mass Healing Word a little bit better there. In the old version, we had Guardian of Faith at level 7. We now get Aura of Life instead of that, as well as Death Ward. Again, I would say that that's a buff here as well, and again, thematically makes a lot of sense, so I'm okay with that. And we drop Raise Dead from what we had before at level 9 and pick up the Greater Restoration here, and we keep Mass Cure Wounds in both. Overall, this is a better spell list in my opinion. I think for what it is we're trying to do, it's better. Now, is it nice to have Raise Dead on lock? Sure. We also have Revivify on lock on both of them, right? So we're going to get access to all of these spells anyway. Not a whole lot of these are new to us, but still, thematically, I think these are just a little bit more solid. So overall, I think this is a buff. I think it's only a little bit better there. Now at level 3 as well, we get Preserve Life, and this of course is our other option for Channel Divinity. You're going to notice that pretty much every cleric now gets 3 things at level 3. You get a feature, you get your spell list, and then you get a Channel Divinity option. Essentially what you used to get between levels 1 and 2, you now just get everything at level 3 because that's how everything works now. And again, this is almost exactly the same except for one tiny little thing that has been changed a little bit. So with this, of course, as a magic action, we get to present our holy symbol, and we get a pool of HP that's equal to 5 times our cleric level. And we can give those out to people who have the bloodied condition, aka less than half of their HP total, and then we can restore them up to half of their HP total. And we can spread those however we want as long as the creatures are within range and are already below that number. That's pretty much exactly the same. What is new though is actually an omission. Before, this would not work on undead or constructs. It now does. How much is this going to come up in your campaign? It depends on your campaign. This may never come up, but it is a difference here. And so if there is an undead something that you want to heal, you can. If there is a construct you want to heal, you now technically can. There's no longer any kind of wording on here that says you can't do that anymore, unless there is something specific to that creature that says it can't be healed with magical means, and there are some creatures that are like that. So overall, it's a slight buff. It's a very situational buff, but it's a slight one. So I still wanted to mention it, even though it's not really anything earth-shattering. At level 6, we still get Blessed Healer, and this is exactly the same as what we did before. When we cast a leveled spell that restores hit points to a creature that's other than us, we can now heal 2 plus the spell's level. It's exactly the same as before, no changes, still really good, love that. Of course, level 8, like we said before, Divine Strike, that is now baked into normal cleric, so we can skip that. And finally, level 17, we get Supreme Healing, and this is mostly the same as before, with one slight little tweak to go along with changes to the actual cleric class. So with this, of course, whenever we do roll to heal hit points, we can just use the highest number possible now. For example, if it's 2d6, it's just 12. We don't have to worry about rolling. The difference here, though, is that we now include Channel Divinities. And you might be like, okay, well, you don't roll for Preserve Life, so what do you mean? That's just a pool. Well, this actually has to do with our new option that comes online with the base cleric. We now get the option to heal our allies with our Channel Divinity, which is pretty cool. It's called Divine Spark, and of course it allows us to heal at the beginning. It's 1d8 plus our wisdom modifier. By this level, it's 4d8 plus our wisdom modifier. So if you wanted to go that route, you can. It is an option. Now, is Preserve Life better? Probably. However, if you are, for whatever reason, wanting to top something off, there's no such restriction on Magic Spark about somebody needing to be bloodied for you to use it. So there are a couple of ways that you can get around that. And of course, it is not restricted to going above that cap of half of someone's HP maximum. So there are reasons to use either or, and so I am glad that they did include that in there, but that is why that wording is there. So overall, what do we think? It's very similar, very, very similar. There's not really a ton to go over, right? We got a few other spells instead of some of the ones that we had before, which to me, I think is only a buff and more thematic. So that's a win right there. Some subtle changes to Preserve Life and Supreme Healing, but for the most part, it's very much still intact with what we had here before. So I still think this is an absolutely fantastic option. I think that if you're looking for the cleric to be the most cleric of all clerics, this is pretty much it. And so I'm going to give this a solid 9 out of 10. I think it's very, very good. I think it's very, very strong. I don't think you're going to go wrong in any way playing with something like this. And so we, of course, are going to be building one of these later this week, and I'm very much looking forward to doing that. Until then, stay safe out there, stay healthy. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.